Hello and welcome to the fifth and most likely last episode of Full Court Press. My name is Chris Murphy, and to my right is Colton Poole.
Hello.
Who once wanted to be the jersey number 30 so that his name could be C3PO. I don't know how you sleep at night.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
That is terrible. I don't know how you sleep at night. But anyway,
C3PO.
Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. So anyway, we are former sports writers, so we are going to talk about sports because that is what you use us for. Our information on that. So we will start off with East Region meet for swimming and diving is Saturday, November 4th, and Colton's going to explain all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on this time of year in sports, so I just kind of wanted to...
Really? There is?
So I just kind of wanted to take a chance to talk about North Dakota swimming and diving. We have a lot of really good, really excellent athletes here in the area. So first, Gracie Lingley is from Fargo Davies. She's a sophomore, and she leads the state in the 50 freestyle with a time of 24.28 seconds. By the way, I'm going to run through all these times. These are the best performances in each of these events that I'm talking about. So, for example, Gracie, she had this performance during the Spartan Invite in August, but that's just kind of trying to preview what's going to happen during the East Region meet and the state meet a week from now.
Gotcha.
On November 10th in Bismarck. So, Lingley, she finished the 50 freestyle in 24.28 seconds. And she's at the top of the state in that category, and in the 100 freestyle in 52.58 seconds. She's also second in the 200 freestyle in a minute 56.21 seconds. Third in the 500 freestyle in 5 minutes 20.84 seconds. Second in the 100-yard backstroke in 1 minute and 0.22 seconds. Fifth in the 100 backstroke in a minute 11.54 seconds. Sixth in the 100 butterfly in a minute and 2.15 seconds. Third in the 200 IM in 2 minutes, 13.18 seconds. I can't even say that many words in how many categories she's swimming in.
She swims fast.
That's our analysis of the day. She's also in the Davies 200 freestyle relay, which is second in a minute, 44.31 seconds. Third in the 200 medley relay in a minute, 55.82 seconds. And second in the 400 freestyle relay in 3 minutes, 45.15 seconds. Also for Davies, Isabel Chambers leads the state in diving with in the six dive category with 238.9 points. And from Davies, Mia Winjum is second. She also was, earlier this month, had a 235.85 point performance. And Winjum leads the 11 dive category with 403.95 points. And that's just Davies, let alone all the other swimmers we have in the area. Bismarck Century, they have leaders in 6 events. And just looking at the other Fargo schools, senior Anna Astra from Fargo North is second in the 100 butterfly in a minute, 0.26 seconds. Eighth in the 100 backstroke in a minute and 3.43 seconds. Eighth in the 200 individual medley in 2 minutes, 19.01 seconds. And Avery Tollefson from Fargo North is 10th in the 11 dive category with 335.8 points. West Fargo's 200 medley relay team of Olivia Hedinger, Sophie Weiss, Tatum Brooks, and Mariah Hissey is second in a minute, 54.91 seconds. Hedinger is also fourth in the 100 backstroke in a minute and 1.12 seconds. Brooks is ninth in the 100 butterfly in a minute, 3.1 seconds. Bailey Ryle is 8th in the 1 meter 6 dives with 205 points and 8th in the 11 dive category with 344.75 points. West Fargo Cheyenne's Madison Yankee is 8th with 8th in the 50 freestyle in 25.59 seconds and 9th in the 100 butterfree. Cheyenne freshman Brianna Lund is 9th in the 100 backstroke in a minute and 3.43 seconds. Fargo South's Mackenzie Rohde is 9th in the 1 meter 6 dive category with 204.45 points, and 9th in the 11 dive category with 343.45 points. Shanley's Peyton Ekman is 6th in the 6-dive category with 217.1 points, and 4th in the 11-dive category with 358 points. A whole lot going on in swimming and diving, so it's really hard to keep track, but that's just kind of the highlights that we've got from our area so far.
I actually don't think we were recording. Can you say all of that again?
All right, starting from the top.
Oh, please, God.
So yeah, just thought we would give everyone a little shout out there. So, moving on to Minnesota football, we've got our expert Chris Murphy.
Expert in nothing, no.
So yeah, just kind of wanted to run through some of the sections in Minnesota football and kind of get
First, can I rant for a little bit? I just want to rant.
Oh,
I know it's not on the schedule, but I want to rant.
okay. What do you know Murphy wants to rant?
I want to rant about the fact that every team makes the playoffs in Minnesota. That is not how it goes in North Dakota, which I appreciate. That's not how it goes, I think, in any place I've ever covered sports. So, yes, let's begin on a Tuesday. Our Tuesday in the first playoff games when you have 1 versus 8 teams, and the 8th team has to travel like 2 hours, hour and a half to go get beat like 60-0. I think it's ridiculous. And I don't think anybody wins. I know there's this whole, they want to play thing, but, this isn't, you could get hurt, and guys actually get hurt, and it's ridiculous. I think it's terrible. I think it doesn't help the regular season. I think the regular season should matter more. And I don't think it helps these 8 seeds that go and then just get slaughtered. It's not good for their mentality. It doesn't make them want to play football. And it's not good. So that is what we have today.
And for the teams who do make long runs, because it sounds like a lot of football packed in a small amount of time, it sounds like these athletes could really get tired. You hear about like how NFL players have short weeks and when they play on Thursdays, and that's why the Thursday night games are always so bad. Like, isn't these like maybe 2 games in a week, 3 games in 2 weeks? That sounds like recovery.
They'll play today on Tuesday, and then a lot of them will play on Saturday. Like, it's not good. There's no reason to be doing a lot of these first round games. But everybody loves the idea of everybody making the playoffs and the chance of an upset and stuff like that. But it's so rare. It's so rare, especially a 1 versus 8.
And what's even the point of playing the regular season then?
Right. If everybody makes it, it's basically you're just playing for a seed and maybe a bye if you're in a certain section. But like, it's ridiculous. I don't understand the joy of driving an hour and a half and getting beat like badly. I mean, this is like a physical game. You're not just getting beat on the scoreboard. You're getting beat. I mean, these kids get hurt. These kids don't want to play football again because. And it's just ridiculous. Like, and you'll see the scores will come out tonight, just like they always do, where, it'll be 60-3 and stuff like that. And it's like, it's just ridiculous. It's a stupid rule, but nothing will change because the high school league figures change. So that's how that works.
Wow. Taking shots.
There's my rant.
So now that Murphy's done with his hot takes for the day, we'll hit you with some more hot takes. We'll go through each of the section in Minnesota high school football
that we cover and have Murphy here kind of break each one down and give us some predictions. So let's start with Class 5A Section 8. That our only local team in that is the Spuds from Moorhead, and they had a big win in the last week of the regular season because that locked up a home game against the same team they just beat, which was Alexandria, on Saturday in the section semifinals. They'll most likely run into Brainerd. They'll have to go to Brainerd though since they lost to Brainerd for the section championship, and I'm gonna go with the Spuds on this one just because Kevin Feeney, their coach, is the king of making adjustments for the playoffs. I mean, there's a reason some of his teams have like waltzed into the playoffs 500, but yet they get to the section championship. I mean, that's just what he does. So I'm gonna go with the Spuds beating Brainerd in the championship. I think Otis Weah has been getting better every week. He's got offers from Bemidji State now and the University of Mary, which I'm sure others will come.
I was going to say, didn't we hear that he was talking to some D1 schools?
Oh, he was. He visited. I saw stuff of him visiting UND. We'll see what happens if anything comes of NDSU, but he's visited UND. I think his recruiting is just starting to pick up now that people have seen what he's done the last 4 weeks. I think 4 or 5 weeks. I think it's more 4 weeks. And yeah, he's going to start getting picked up. So yeah, I'm picking the Spuds to win that section just because I think they can beat Brainerd. But we'll see. Brainerd's really good. Brainerd is really good. I'm starting to regret that pick already. But
one pick in.
But yeah, that's all I got. So yeah, let's get away from that section.
So Class 4A, Section 8.
Rocori, I think we don't cover Rocori, but I think it'll come down to Rocori and Fergus Falls. Fergus's one loss is to Wilmer, who Rocori beat by 2, so it's close. Fergus has won 7 straight, so they're hot right now. Yeah, I would go with Rocori beating Fergus in the championship.
Class 3A, Section 8.
Okay, this one's interesting. DGF starts off with Park Rapids, or Dilworth Glendenfelton, I should say. They beat them 50-6 in the regular season, so one has to think they're going to win tonight. That sets up a game with Pequot Lakes in the second round, which DGF has beaten Pequot Lakes in the section championship 4 straight years. There's not a team that Pequot Lakes wants to beat more than DGF, who they did beat in the regular season this year. They don't usually meet in the regular season. So they beat them in Glendon this season. So Dilworth Glendenfelton would have to go to Pequot Lakes and win that game. I think Pequot Lakes finally gets over that hump. But I think, unfortunately for Pequot Lakes, I think they lose for the 5th straight season in the section championship. I think they lose to Perham. I think Perham is going to win that section.
Class 2A, Section 8.
This one's going to be Holly versus Barnesville, which I've said for a long time. Barnesville will roll Roseau tonight. If they play Crookston in round 2, they beat them by 20. Holly will either play Warroad or United North Central in the second round. They haven't faced either team this year, so that could be tricky. But it's going to come down to Holly Barnesville, and I was wrong the first game. I'm going to go with Barnesville in the rematch. I apologize to Nugget Nation, but Barnesville's proven more in the last few years, so I'm going to go with Barnesville, even though Holly really did stick it to them in the regular season win at Barnesville. For some reason, yeah, I can't let go of Barnesville until someone proves me wrong. So,
real quick, coolest nickname in Minnesota sports you've seen?
That we cover?
Nuggets. That's a pretty.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, coming from Chicago covering sports, where it's all kind of generic, Wildcats and stuff like that. Yeah, coming here was incredible to see like the Nuggets and the Spuds. I mean, Spuds is hilarious. What was another? Yeah, there's so many. Like, there's a lot of them we don't cover, like the Awesome Blossoms, the Blooming Prairie Awesome Blossoms. Super Larks is out there in Minnesota. Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones. Yeah, I definitely respect. The Wobbin Bombers are really, that's just a fun one. I did a column last year or 2 years ago on the history of the weird names and how they came, and actually there are some pretty interesting cases. Like the Wobbin Bombers, God, I can't remember the exact story. The Bombers used to be something else, but then during World War II, I want to say, someone who went to Wobbin's brother was a pilot, and so they wanted to change it to Bombers in honor of that person, and they did. There's very interesting stories to why these things are what they are. So yeah, no, Nuggets are great. Yeah, that's a good one. Holly Nuggets is good.
Do we have the Spuds history?
I had it written. Spuds. I think Spuds started off as fans making fun of them for being potato farmers around here, and I think they called them the Spuds as a derogatory thing, and Moorhead embraced it and just became the Spuds. Like I think that was what the final story was. I had to do some legit digging to find this stuff out too. So it was fun.
That's like you picking on me. I'm just trying to embrace it here.
Yeah, sure.
Moving on. Class 2A, Section 6.
Don't entirely know a ton about the section. It looks as though Pillager seems to have it. West Central area has a chance. They're not too far behind. And then Staples Motley is right behind them. And they actually handed Pillager their only loss of the season. So could be either of those three. I would go with Pillager.
Class 1A, Section 8.
I've written down that Monoman will destroy all. So I believe Monoman, along with running back John Starkey. Actually, is he running back or quarterback? Either way, he's rushed for a ton of yards. I think their only loss is to Holly, who's a class above them. Otherwise, they've just rolled. Monoman will win again.
Class 1A, Section 6.
This is a toss-up between Otter Tail Central and Ada Borup, Norman County West. Otter Tail Central is coming down from Class 2A from last year, and Ada Borup, Norman County West have co-opted, coming up from 9-man to 1A. I'm going to go with Otter Tail solely because they've had a little tougher schedule, but it really is a toss-up between the two. But it'll come down to those two.
Our last couple sections here. Class 9-man, Section 6.
This one's as even as can be. Norman County East, Ulan Hitterdal is a 3 seed, Rothsay's a 2 seed, Nevis is the 1 seed, Wobbin's the 4 seed. Wobbin had some injuries that hurt them, so they're not a real 4 seed. They're actually better than that. I'm going to go with Norman County East, Ulan Hitterdal. They're the only team that beat Nevis, and their only loss is to Wobbin, who they may not even see if Wobbin has to face Nevis in the second round and if they lose to Nevis. So I'm going to go with Norman County East, Ulan Hitterdal.
And finally, Class 9-man, Section 4.
This one's Ferndale. They'll probably meet Brandon Evansville in the section championship, who they beat by 10 in week 1. So this one's got Ferndale written all over it.
All right, if that's all we got from Minnesota football, I think that's it for today. This has been Full Court Press with Forum Sports reporters Colton Poole, myself, and Chris Murphy. Tomorrow we'll have more about North Dakota football, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.